welcome everyone to this new series. This is the building of Bughy Wughy Wonderland. What a great name. In this series we're going to be building a theme park called Bughy Wughy Wonderland. And in this episode we will be building the entrance, as you can see here on the background. It's gonna be some really satisfying snap builds, and I'll give you some tips and tricks on terraforming as well. I'll walk you through how I built this, so without further ado, let's jump in on episode 1. First, let's get rid of this ugly ass starting spawn. Aw, guests can't spawn now. Oh, and I have to enjoy the peace and quiet of no guests. Quite nice, to be honest. Instead of having the guests arrive by car, I thought it would be a cool idea to have them arrive by boat. But there's no water, so we had to create some. And then I flooded the whole place. So I'm digging a channel here, or a canal, or whatever you call it, just so that I can fill it up with water and have these boats. Not sure if you're aware, but besides buses you can also select boats, so guests can spawn on boats or from boats instead of from the bus. So much cooler, and it works much better in this tropical setting. I didn't like making a big parking lot, so I thought I'll just go easy and make a body of water first, and then just have the guests spawn from there. I'm using this chisel tool that I found out really helpful in creating realistic terrains. Well, ish terrains. You just build a wall with the terraforming tool, and then you use the chisel, and then you just chisel in some of the surface, and it makes some of the surfaces flat. It's super good, and it works really well on having these rounded parts of the terrain and giving it some edge. I like it. This is what we have so far. A nice body of water. Let's bring the boats in. One boat is obviously not going to be enough, so I've decided there were 3 buses at the start, so I'll just put down 3 boats just because I can. Giving them a different color, and then making sure that when the guests come off the boat that they actually have a place to walk on and not fall down and drown. Not that I really care, but you know, realism and stuff. I'm really struggling with this pathing tool. I just can't seem to understand how it works. I've built quite a bit of pathing so far, but still I'm finding myself struggling with it. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So if you know a way to prevent me from suffering as much as I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get it connected. For the life of me, I couldn't get it to work. If you have a tip on what I should or should not be doing, please let me know down below so I can learn from you. I'm finding this tedious to work with, but I guess we'll get used to it eventually. I have the idea to make some kind of docks, so the boats arrive and then the guests can unload walking on this dock section, or like a wooden platform. I don't know what you call them. I think it's docks. So just laying down the basic pathing first, and then I'll decorate it afterwards. Now after some pathing, after some struggle, this is what we have. That's just the basic layout. And I thought, this concrete, I couldn't find any proper wooden textures for the footpath. So I decided to just cover them with these floor panels that I found. The wooden floor panels. And it works quite well. Obviously it is ugly by itself and it's floating. But we'll all change that later on. For now, the idea was just to cover the main path with some wood. It's quite satisfying, to be honest. It's like coloring between lines. Now that's done, I'm gonna put some side panels in, some wooden planks, so that you don't see the side of the path. This is kind of what we ended up with. That was quite satisfying. I made these little wooden docks that people can walk on and load and unload the ship if necessary. So I'm putting some goods and some cranes down. And the cranes are there to help load and unload supplies on the boats. I know there's just people on there, but they also need to eat. Giving the boats an anchor as well. Even though it's up, just a little bit of realism, I guess. Couple more bags, some crates. Ball bags, more crates, and then some apples, because we love apples. It's good for you. This is what we ended up with. I also changed the texture of the pathing. Right, let's have a quick look around, an in-between look before we continue. We've got the boats here ready to go. And I made these little docks, as you can see. And some of the terrain on the right side, I added that terrain too. And on the left side as well. And I found these cool square lanterns that I added as well to the pathing. Now it's time to theme some of the sides. And I'm just using some really big rocks. This resizing tool is quite incredible. And just trying to make it blend in and look natural with the environment. I found out that if you use small rocks and you increase their size to like its biggest size, it makes the terrain look a little bit more natural. So that's something you should consider when you do some terraforming. You can sink in these really big rocks and then it just makes the terrain look a little bit more rough and natural, I'd say. That's just my opinion. Right, here's some more rocks. He's nice. He's nicer. And some more plants. Make it all blend in. As you can see, I'm just picking plants and then using the resize tool to go make it as big as possible, because it covers areas faster and then it uses less pieces. I also added in some water plants. And some ferns. And some monasteras. And some palms. And I couldn't find the right trees. This, by the way, is a Nico palm. That's a native New Zealand palm. So if you ever place them down in Planet Coaster, it's called a Nico palm. They actually only grow in New Zealand, so that's very cool. I think these come from the Planet Zoo pack, where they have introduced the kiwis. I added some fences as well because I didn't want my guests to fall in the water and drown. I mean, it would be fun, but let's not do that. This tested my patience a little bit, but I had the patience and I fought through and I conquered. Oh, that was such a good one. Then I started working on the arch from the entrance, but I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna make this work. So I decided to go for a combination of rock or like stone and wood, and then just bringing it up and rotating it on an 11.25 degree angle. And then if you do this a few times, you end up with a half circle. Then you just simply copy it, drag it to the side, and you have an arch. Quite simple and super effective on building fast. Nice. I then also placed down some entrances, but I had no clue on what the wrong way around was or the right way. I just popped them down and I thought, they'll do. If the guest can't enter the park, we'll just rotate them. The arch is now in the middle. Bringing in some terrain. I thought it would be really cool to have a little enclosed entrance where you're not able to see what's on the other side of the entrance. And I've got some cool ideas on what to make behind this entrance for it to be a little bit of a surprise. So I'm simply bringing terrain in and over, which I then later on delete depending on what size and how I wanted it to be there. Beautiful terrain. I just brought it up and now I'm using the smoothing tool to smooth it all out. And you can see the color of the terrain change as well. From really patchy to nice and gradient. And here, once you've brought it up, like I showed you in the start of the video, use a chisel tool. It's super handy and it works, it really does its magic. Then I'm connecting the arches together using wood. This was inspired by my Temple Dash video where every structure I made had a wooden skeleton. I thought it would be cool to just do the same thing here. It's just such a good way of creating structures and yeah, a little bit more realistic building, because these arches will not stand straight if they're not connected to each other. I just extended the archway a little bit more and introduced one more arch and then just connected them all again using the wood pieces. This way I also had an even amount of distance between each arch. Digging some terrain away, so that we can all see the arch once we walk through. You see how in the start I buried this whole thing in terrain, and now it's pretty much see-through. This is what we have so far. Very happy with it. Time to cover it with some stones and make it all blend into the environment. To be really honest, at this point in time I had no idea that I was going to end up with these big two stone statues that I made. I was just googling for some inspiration, and then I came across some of the photos of Mount Rushmore, and that gave me a really cool idea of making these stone statues. There we go. Entrance is slowly coming together. Now I'm using the terrain paint tool to just blend the mountain that I just made in with the environment. I think terrain paint is really underestimated. This is what we have so far, and it's already looking really cool. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. You can see how kind of naturally the rock folds over the archway that I made here. It's really nice, and it's just, yeah, I'm really liking it. Very happy with it. Then, since I got inspired by Mount Rushmore, I was like, let's just give this a shot and see what it looks like. So this was my first attempt at making one of the faces. I just used the rocks and tried to make a face or like a head shape first. And then used the different types of stones on different angles to create facial features like the eyebrows and the mouth. I thought that would be a cool tone, but that was too big. Didn't like it very much. Here's some eyes. Very particular about my eyebrows. But you get a rough idea. This is kind of what I ended up with as a first concept. The face is definitely there, but it's not great. I think I could have done better, so I decided to make a second face. This one I was a lot more happier about. Again, very particular about the eyebrows. It's hard to find rocks shaped in facial features. Anyway, this is what it looks like. Quite nice. And then I decided, got a boy, let's make a girl, but we need some hair. So I decided to use different kind of rock that it makes it look like the hair is a little bit blondish. I could just give it some more girlier features this way. Just like a lady is particular about how she looks, I was very particular about how this girl was gonna look. It took me ages to find the right pieces, but it ended up working. Quite happy with this. There we go. We have two faces. Let's place these faces down. And first thing I started with put both faces on the left. And then I was like, what about the right? I was aiming to make two more faces, but I really, to be honest, couldn't be arsed. So I was like, if I give these guys a body, it will look really cool as well. So here you see me trying using different stones to create a body. And this guy ended up having a little bit of a beer belly. And then I was like, what if I can make him have arms and wrap it around the lady on the left? But I couldn't really get it to work. So I just decided to make his arm go to the right and fold over the archway of the entrance. That's one arm. And I'm trying to make a hand, but I failed very, very badly. So I gave up. I decided to put the lady on the right as well. And gave her some nice woman features. Very nice. It's starting to look really cool already. But now I had no idea of where I was going to put the name of the park. Bughy Wughy Wonderland. Don't ask me how I came up with this. I literally one day was like, oh, do you know what would be cool? Bughy Wughy Wonderland. So I just made Bughy Wughy Wonderland. Oh, and here are the hands, by the way. They're looking a little bit weird, but it will do the job. Here we go. Wonderland sign. Not the Bughy Wughy yet, just the Wonderland. And then I thought, wait, you have two arms, so you should be having two hands. So I put the hands in place as well. So then I decided to cover Wonderland the wood wonderland with some wooden platforms. It looked really cool. And I expanded that to the left and the right as well. It's starting to really come together now. So here you see me spell Bughy Wughy to make Bughy Wughy Wonderland. I didn't even know how I was going to spell this. Some people call me Boog, some people call me Boog, as in B-O-O-G. So first I was thinking as in Bughy Wughy, like dancing. But then I was like, no, I'll just keep my name in there, how it's spelled, which is Bughl, B-U-G-H. So that's why I went with Bughy Wughy this way. I quite like it. So yeah. Then I thought the left and the right side of the statues is a little bit bland. So what if I bring in some more water? I love myself some water. So I dug a hole, chucked some water in it, and it looked pretty cool. You know what else I thought would look really cool? Have some water in the middle. You can never have enough water. I mean, water is the source of life after all, so the more water the better. Then I drowned the whole place again, and now it was good. And some more water on the right side, next to the lady. Very nice. I don't know why I keep saying that. I added a couple more rocks on the left side, just so that it blends in better with the terrain. Also on the right side. And in the middle, making sure that the pathing is nice and covered by these rocks. Then I added a really cool rim to the frame of the park entrance. A little bit retro-y, I have to say. But it looks really cool. That's the left. And the right. Very nice. Then I added some waterfalls on the left and the right side. Behind the guy and the girl. Yeah. It's water, so it's cool. Then it was time to look around and find the right tree for the right spot. And I am very particular when it comes to placing down trees. Often people just use the scenery brush, but I feel like sometimes with the scenery brush you obstruct certain views. And I do not like that. Every tree needs to be placed carefully, in my opinion. For instance, I can't place down a big tree in the middle there because it will obstruct the statues in the back. So I gotta weirdly carefully place down each tree and decide where it goes. Also, you need to be really careful placing tree downs because it would cast shadow on things where you don't want shadow to be on. Like on the guy's statue. His head is now fully covered in shadow. So I ended up removing that tree. Then, as a final touch, I wanted one big arch to go over the top between the boy and the girl statue. And on that I hang some signs down with some words. It will be very cool, like this. Then I hung down some ropes and some of these cool signs. And on these signs you can write words. So I ended up writing a few words. It reads, "Where dreams become reality and excitement is waiting around every corner." Quite nice. And then I made a sun and I put it on the background. It was a painful job. Alright, and this is what we ended up with after spending some time on building the entrance. Before we go and look at all the little details, I just want to show you guys. This is kind of the channel that the guests arrive in. Maybe I should turn this into a hole where the guests come out of, but I can't terraform on after this line. I say I can't terraform on the other side of this line. It's already cutting off here, as you can see. And in Planet Coaster 1, you are allowed to use to dig a bit outside of the park border. So hopefully that will become another thing here in Planet Coaster 2. But anyway, the guests arrive by boat, and I built this like little arrival area. So you've got the boat unloading part. So all the guests come out of the boat, and there's a little like working ground where there's some goods and stuff that can be lifted onto the boats with the crane to be loaded up to go and grab the next lot of people, and you know, it's a come and go kind of thing. And these like cool little apple baskets, a little bit of clutter, not too much. I wanted to be organized, a little bit more organized than, you know, messy. And then here we've got the little main square kind of thing, the entrance. First this was a beach, and then I dug it out and turned it into a big pond, just so I can add these water features in. And I thought it just gives like an elegant touch to the overall entrance. And then also like you got a waterfall to the left here, comes from there and there, and the same thing for this side, a waterfall. And go into these little ponds, and then the ponds connect through a little channel. Through, like they connect with a bigger body of water. I could probably dig this out as well, just to make it look clearer. And it's the same here. They connect through here, like a little channel of water. I just thought it looks really cute. Well, cute. It looks nice and natural, and I thought I'll just keep it that way. Then we obviously have these two big statues. This is someone, I don't know, just a boy and a girl. But this necklace that he is wearing, this is called a Pounamu, which is New Zealand green stone. And a lot of people in New Zealand walk around with a necklace with a green stone on it. It's called Pounamu. It's particularly of significance in Maori culture, and I just thought that gives a little bit of a Maori tinge to my park, and which I like. I love all that stuff. It needs to be incorporated. And this is more of just a general necklace, but just giving them necklaces I thought was really cool. And then the hair were flat, and I gave it some more details by putting some rocks on an angle. And then obviously the name of the park will be Bughy Wughy Wonderland. It just sounds funny, and I just think because of Bugul, you know, Bughy Wughy Wonderland, it just sounds cool, and I was gonna go for that. And then I've got the signs here that read, where dreams become reality and excitement is waiting around every corner. That's kind of the theme of the park. There's like, it looks a little bit Pacific. There's no real like theme. It's more like a general entrance, I think. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for, because I wanted to have this park have different types of themes and not just specifically aimed at one theme or 2 or 3 themes. I'm literally going to build whatever I feel like building behind this entrance, and it's gonna be very cool. And then we've got a big sun here that I built, and then later on I wanted to make the sun rotate, but apparently you cannot attach blueprints to already existing animation particles. So with that I mean, if I'm going here to scenery, create custom, and then here I'll place down one of these rotating parts, I cannot for the life of me attach scenery to it and then select this flower or my blueprint that I made. It just doesn't, it doesn't connect to it. See, it's not rotating. If someone knows how to do this, please let me know and relieve me from my internal suffering. Because I do not want to make this sun again. It was a pain in the ass. It took me a long time, and now obviously I had to build the sun on top of the rotating part to be able to make it work, but I don't want to build that sun again. So yeah, and I've got these cool little blue lines that flow around, representing some water or something like that, which is generally a theme anyway. I mean, you arrive by water and then you've got water all over the sides and on the main entrance. And what we're gonna do with the main entrance, that will be a secret for the next video. I've got a cool idea that I want to apply here. So the next video will be continuing working on this entrance, and then maybe probably start working on like the first little thingy here behind. So if you want to check out more, please make sure to subscribe. 95% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel, so please help me out and smash that subscribe button. That would be really helpful, and that way I can maybe go to 4 days a week of work and 1 day a week of creating content for you guys. But that obviously is dependent on YouTube and how things go. But anyway, I appreciate you all checking this out. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you all in the next video. See you later. Take care. Bye bye.